up, y'all? Today, we are going to try to make Halloween mask for our dolls using hot glue. Emphasis on the word try. I've never done this before, so I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out. But we're going to need a volunteer. I'm going to use this Barbie fashionista. I have quite a few dolls with this sculpt, so I'm not saying that she's expendable, but you know. For this project, I'm using a doll that I wouldn't get upset about if it got messed up. I also need hot glue, paint, and a paintbrush, and elastic cord. I start by making sure the doll's hair is pulled back so it doesn't get into the glue. Then I apply hot glue directly onto the doll's face. Now for this one, I'm going to try to go around the eyes, doing my best to control where the glue goes, because this will be the mask, so you really do want to take your time and try to be neat. Well, as neat as you can with hot glue. Take care to stay away from the hairline, because if this glue goes in the hair, it's going to be very difficult to get it out. Plus, the Barbie hair will probably melt and just turn into a huge mess. I've covered her entire face, including her mouth, and now we're just going to let it dry. That was pretty fast. This is not the smoothest job, but we kind of knew that going into it. Now we just have to decide what we want this mask to be. How about a witch? Let's use the hot glue gun to add some cheekbones right under the eye. Maybe they go down a little bit, then go up. Repeat on the other side. Let's add some more glue to the nose. Let it dry. Let's add some more. We can also start to build up the chin, so I think she should have a nice pointy chin. But we're gonna have to do this layer by layer. And if you see the glue starting to move in a direction you don't want it to, just allow gravity to help you out. I've added a few more layers. I even added a little bit above the eye. Now without adding more glue, I'm just gonna use the hot glue gun to kind of define those features and add some textures. So let's kind of move that cheekbone around there. And this is probably gonna look really crazy when we're done, but that's the whole idea, right? So we're gonna just smooth those cheekbones out a little bit. If you're good at sculpting, this is gonna be like so easy for you. This is adding a lot of texture that I'm hoping will give our mask some really cool creepiness. And I'm gonna add a little more glue so we can smooth out the nose, make it look like a really good little pointed witch nose. Dude, I'm even trying to make some nostrils. Hopefully that will come out good. Let it dry. Take the elastic cord, measure and cut a piece that goes from one side of the doll's head to the other. Lift the mask just a little. Add a little touch of glue and then the elastic and press down. But be careful that you don't get it in the doll's hair. I'm allowing it to dry completely before trying to glue the other side. Then turn the head and repeat on the other side. Hold it until it dries, then carefully remove the whole thing from the doll's face. I just popped my elastic. I'll glue it back on in just a second. There we go. It comes completely off and the doll is fine. And now we have a miniature hot glue mask. Now let's paint it. I'm using a green. It's kind of like a shamrock green, I think the name was. Let's do a nice even coat, filling in all those nooks and crannies. Now that we have the paint on there, we can really see those details. And I can see areas that I would like to fix. Like I want to bring this cheekbone out just a little bit more. But first, I have to wait for the paint to dry. If It feels dry. Let's add a little more glue right through here. Carefully shape it, let it dry, then paint over it. While waiting for that to dry, let's start on another mask. This one's going to be a little tricky. Not sure if it's going to work, but I'm just going to pour a bunch of glue directly onto the doll. And hopefully we can get something that's really smooth. But I'm going to have to move this because this glue is starting to move, so we just have to tilt the doll and let gravity help us out a little bit. Green paint. Well, it's kind of smooth. I had a few hiccups. Maybe we can turn this into a pumpkin by adding some lines going down. I was thinking about just carving them in, but maybe we should just add big lines of glue. Yeah, let's try that. Big line of glue going all the way down. I made 3 lines and I kept a large space between each one. Once they've dried a little, let's add another one in those spaces. Okay, that was a total disaster. I'm starting again. This time it's actually pretty smooth. It's dry, and I'm not gonna add anything to it. Let's just leave this one as it is. This one is on there pretty good. All right, but we can get it off. Great. But first, let's glue on the elastic, then remove it from her face. Oops, looks like the nose is too thin. Let's just be careful. It'll work. But I ripped it up there. Let's paint this one white. I made another smooth mask. I'm painting it orange. On a smooth surface, let's make some squiggly lines. Using the hot glue, making sure that they don't touch each other. Set them aside and allow them to dry. While waiting, let's make another mask. It's kind of smooth, kind of not. I really just wanted to keep this mask thin. Once dried, I carefully remove it from the doll. We're gonna do this now to make sure we can actually remove it because it is so thin. Just taking my time and slowly working this off her face. Come on. So far, so good. And we did it! I'm using an X-Acto knife to carve out the eyes. Wow, that sounds horrible. I think that will work. Add the elastic, peel off those little wiggly strips of glue, and glue them onto the mask, going around the top. And we can make a few going down. Whoa, that looks pretty crazy. I am painting this dark brown, then allow it to dry. Let's make one for Ken. I'm gonna add the glue to the face, but we're gonna avoid the eye like we did for the first one. Add some light texture. Add the elastic just as before. Carefully remove it and paint it gray. And let's make a smooth one for Ken as well. Remove it from the doll. I'm going to trim it to try and round it out. Then glue on the elastic and paint it white. Now let's start to add some details. I'm starting with our green mask. I'm going to take a lighter green. This one was called lime green. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush, then swirl it around to remove the excess, and then just brush it right over the existing green to try to pull out some highlights. I probably should have started with a darker green. Let's go over it with an olive green, making sure it goes into all those nooks and crannies. Then add a dark brown around the eyes. This is a chocolate brown, so it does have a little bit of red in it. I'm also going to add some of that brown to the chin and to the nose. The green paint is still wet, So we're able to just blend those colors together. Now we can dry brush a little bit of that green to make those wrinkles stand out. Maybe we need a little more. Oh, there you go. You can totally see it now. That might be too much. Let's add a little bit of a lighter brown around the eyes. Use green to fade it in. I'm using that dark brown on the lips. Add some black eyeliner to make a creepy doll mask.
Hello, my pretty.
Okay, that is not creepy at all. Let's work on another one. On the white mask, I use a pencil to sketch eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Go over it with black paint, allow it to dry between coats, then make little lines going down on the mouth like stitches. Make a really light gray and add a little shadow to make a Jack Skellington inspired mask. You know, this is actually pretty creepy. Let's go ahead and do the guy's white mask while we're at it. I need to add a second coat of white paint. We're gonna paint a mask inspired by Obito from Naruto Shippuden. Shippuden. I'm probably saying that wrong. But my son wanted this, so here we go. First, I'm going to use a pencil to draw what looks like 3 commas. This mask is too bumpy for this. We need a new one. This time I used a doll with flatter hair, and that helped to make the mask a lot larger. Now we can paint it white. It's not the smoothest mask, but we're gonna keep going. Add a black dot a little above the center. Make a circle around it. Add another circle. That's not the best circle. I'm gonna wait for it to dry and then use white paint to try and clean that up a little. Much better. Make 3 dots on the outer circle. They're actually pretty large dots. Add a little tail onto the end to look like a comma. Repeat for all of them, then draw another circle and a partial one on the bottom to complete the mask. Now play nice. I took the other mask that we made earlier and painted another skeleton face for his and her matching costumes. Boo. On the orange mask, I'm using some dark brown to paint lines, then add some orange so we can try and fade the brown and the orange on the sides. Use black paint to make a face, a triangle nose, little beans for eyes, and a nice big smile. Use a lighter orange to add highlights. Make a stem out of hot glue and glue it onto the top. Paint it brown. Let's add a little green to make a pumpkin mask for a not so scary costume. And we're down to our last 2. I'm just gonna brush this one with gold to give it this really nice golden shine and complete our Medusa mask. To go with the Medusa mask, let's add a little darker gray to our mask. Dry brush with a little light gray to make those little nooks and crannies kind of pop out. Use black paint to add a few cracks. Highlight the edges with a lighter gray to make a stone mask, which goes perfectly with the Medusa mask. I think I want to cut off the lower half of this mask, so it's just a half mask. Yeah, let's do it. I'm just using my X-Acto knife to cut off the parts I don't need. I added a few glue dots for decoration, then just touch up the paint to finish the look. And now we have Medusa and her stone statue. Don't you just love coordinated costumes? Thank you for joining us while we made miniature Halloween mask out of hot glue. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell and follow us on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog. And we will see you next time.